My name's Theresa Morris. I live on my own. I'm disabled, but I'm also a carer. I have an adult son with schizophrenia, and throughout COVID, he's lived at my house. Because of this, I have had, above and beyond, quite a few crises involving not being able to access the community, the mental health teams. I'm diagnosed myself, yet I'm a carer for my son. And during COVID, no services. My son declined to have the COVID injections, but I had 2 of them. That left me with worrying every single day and encouraging him to actually live at my house without permission from housing departments. I could lose my tenancy. I could be charged more rent just because my son's got a mental health issue. And this is just because it's COVID and I've needed to protect him. So I've chosen, not wholly looking after myself, to support my adult son. Alongside that, I've not been able to go out shopping because of my own disabilities, but I also fall between a little bit of a loophole that says you're not allowed to have your medications delivered anymore because you don't meet the criteria anymore. Before COVID, my medication was delivered because I wasn't able physically to do it myself, or mentally, and I'm diagnosed with mental health issues, actually managing my medication. And so I ended up having to do it via a postal service that then was sending me 2 months' supply, which meant I had an overlog of medications, which meant that the GP service was always basically telling me off for either not ordering on time or ordering too many. And it's a little loophole thing that says, where's the legislation on this? Why was my medication stopped being delivered for me? Because I was obviously in need of it being delivered beforehand, before COVID. During COVID, nothing, no support, nothing. So I went for months without essential medications. And I've mentioned the Mental Health Act. I'm diagnosed with bipolar and post-traumatic stress disorder. They are both from childhood, more or less, and bereavement related. And there was no one for me. And I just ended up very low, but also having to act almost like a professional in supporting my son, because he did not understand, does not understand, and did not cope with the situation very well. All down to COVID. I've got a backlog. I have a tilt table test to do because of a heart condition that I've not been able to access. I was offered online Tai Chi via a pain clinic service. I was unable to do that because my hands don't work, therefore I couldn't access that facility. So therefore there was no place for me, and I got struck off the pain clinic, which meant I was then not offered services. And it just went from bad to worst. I think the only plus kind of thing that I can see is my natural character cares for others. So therefore, when I've seen a little old man out on the street, and I have, and he's got a dog, and he walks around, he's older than me, and he walks around and he has got no one. So I started saying hello to him. I just started going out my front gate, saying hello to him. And then it went to I was making a cup of coffee for him in my garden, just so that he had a person. And over time, other people started doing it. And where I live, there's a little community going on out there that everyone says hello to this man with this dog all the time. I don't know, on days where they ring bells for NHS staff. Don't get me wrong, I'm ex-welfare, I'm an ex-professional, but I don't come into pay at all. I don't come into play because I'm an unpaid carer that actually needs a carer myself. And COVID has just exacerbated every single thing on a daily basis. Food, can't go shopping, can't stand in a queue. Other people rushing, even shop staff, where they're panicking because of COVID. And then there's little old me wandering around, caring for the community and basically going without. And food banks are lovely places. But for love nor money, I could not get anyone to help me and deliver because my son will not accept help. And the loophole says, you're not a paid carer. That comes with disadvantages. It doesn't work for me. And so financially, I'm at through COVID, at a constant loss. That's how it's been. It's been soul destroying But it's been soul destroying for more than me. It's the other people that I worry about. It's the people that can't go to nursing homes and see people. It's the man down the road that's got motor neuron disease that I actually know very well on a personal level. It's people like that. They've been moved out of their little one-bedroom flats and they've been moved to temporary care facilities because of their needs. And then they get moved back again to their homes. But first they get moved out because there's no one that can go in there because of the isolation and see them. So that particular person, the non-verbal person, and they had no one, until somebody else came along that was a voluntary worker that happened to know them, and they went, right, we'll do something about this, and they did it off their own backs, and they got this guy moved. So I feel that every single person out there does not have anyone. I'm used to not having anyone. I'm used to supporting my adult. I'm used to being the person that people come to get support from. And so the impact of COVID for me, medication, proper diagnosis has been a big thing for me. And my adult son's needs and the rest of the community, I know full well they're far worse off than I was during that COVID crisis. Far worse off than me. Yet it impacted me and I'm outgoing. I'm used to being on my own. Not so many people are used to being totally on their own. And I think it's had an impact on the whole world. And I don't think anything's been the same again. I don't. I think everything's out the window. I think politically and all the number crunching and all the services that were meant to be implemented and meant to be supplied to us in good faith didn't reach all of us. Certainly didn't. I didn't have a personal loss through COVID. I have people that I know that did, and off the back of cancers, a lack of treatment, and then catching COVID and dying. The services weren't there. Not the NHS staff's fault. They're all good staff. It's not down to them. It goes way, way further and way, way higher up to the people in power. And that's a nice loose word for it. These people are the people that have told us what we, the little people at the bottom, are doing. And they haven't got it right. They've tried really hard. They haven't got it right. I don't think so at all. I've worked in these trades. I've worked in hospitals. I've worked in residential environments. I've worked in schools with a variety of different people with a variety of different needs. And COVID has done no favours to no one. And the way COVID was managed, I feel, certainly hasn't done enough for people like myself and my son. Going forward, and on reflection, I found that I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. I've recognised I'm actually quite a kind person, and I don't think you always realise that. And through COVID, where I've had the need to, the man with the dog's an example, just to be there for somebody else. I think going forward for me now, I'm at peace with myself. I find it hard to go out and socialise still. That's an ongoing thing for me. But I'm far more settled than I was. I was panicking. There was no finishing of COVID, if you like. And now COVID is over for me. And I'm actually looking forward to using the skills that I now recognise that I still have. That's from training many years ago. I've still got those skills. So why don't I go out and use some of those skills? So at the moment, I have just been offered some advocacy work to help the community some more, like those less able than me. I've been asked to do this because I'm a wheelchair user now and I have got that background knowledge. I can help other people. And I think that's what COVID's taught me. Regards to my son, I have learnt through COVID to manage his intrusions, if you like, into my private world, because there's not a lot of privacy when you manage someone with schizophrenia. But I've learnt that that's nothing and just relax, and that's who he is, and life goes forward. That's purely and simply because we've been pushed together because of COVID, and now we've got an equilibrium in my household, and we just float along, and it's really nice.